Okay, so you want to stay in the loop, right? But without drowning in endless news feeds. That's exactly what we try to do here. Today, we're jumping straight into some pretty big news from a world you likely know quite well. Panem.
Yeah, definitely. If you're a Hunger Games fan, there's been some, well, major movement on a casting front for the new prequel.
The prequel being The Hunger Games, Sunrise on the Reaping.
Exactly. We've been looking at an article from E! News about it, trying to pull out the really key stuff for you.
Right. So our goal today basically is to unpack these new casting announcements, figure out, what they mean for the whole Hunger Games story.
And maybe share some surprising bits about how the original movie got cast.
Yeah.
Stuff you might not have heard before.
Okay, let's get into it then. The two big roles announced.
We're talking young Haymitch Abernathy and Lenore Dove Baird.
And the actors are?
Joseph Zada is playing Haymitch, and Whitney Peak is playing Lenore Dove Baird. Lionsgate made it official, told E! News yesterday, April 23rd.
Just to set the scene a bit, Sunrise on the Reaping, it's based on the Suzanne Collins book, obviously, Six Thieving, the whole franchise.
Right, and it's hitting theaters, or scheduled to, November 2026.
Yeah.
It follows Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which came out back in 2023.
Wow. And the very first film, that was 2012, wasn't it?
Yeah, crazy how time flies.
So,
Yeah.
Sunrise on the Reaping, what's the core story here?
It's all about Haymitch, but like 16-year-old Haymitch, we see him getting picked as a tribute for the 50th Hunger Games, the Quarter Quell.
The one Woody Harrelson's Haymitch, the older mentor figure for Katniss and Peeta, actually won.
That's the one. So we get his origin story, basically, his own experience in the arena.
Interesting. And these actors, Joseph Zada and Whitney Peak, what else are they known for?
Well, Zada's got a few things coming up. Amazon Prime's We Were Liars, that's out in June. Netflix's East of Eden 2.
Oh, and didn't he have a movie out earlier this year, Invisible Boys?
Yep, that's him, keeping busy. And Whitney Peak, she's got Sony Shiver coming up. That's a shark thriller.
Ooh, okay.
And Amazon MGM's 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank. Plus, you might know her right now as Loya Lott in the Gossip Girl reboot on Max.
Right. So Lionsgate seems pretty happy with these choices.
Oh, yeah. Erin Westerman, she's co-president over there at the Motion Picture Group. She had some positive things to say, talked about the franchise's history of finding great young talent.
And she thinks Zada and Peak fit that mold.
Seems like it. She mentioned they bring, quote, real heart and emotional depth, and that they auditioned a lot of people.
So these two really stood out.
Apparently so. She highlighted that emotional truth they brought. And interestingly, she also mentioned how popular Haymitch is, how fans are eager for his backstory.
Makes sense.
And specifically called out the importance of his relationship with Lenore Dove. So just that dynamic is going to be pretty central to the movie's, emotional core.
Okay. Definitely something to watch out for. Now, this new casting news, it sort of naturally leads back to the original movie, doesn't it? Thinking about how that all came together.
It really does. And the casting for the first Hunger Games was quite the process itself. The E! News piece actually dives into that a bit, too.
Oh, really? Like what?
Well, for Katniss Everdeen, think about who could have played her. The list of actresses who actually auditioned is pretty wild.
Let me guess. Haley Steinfeld?
Yep. Her, Abigail Breslin, Emma Roberts, Saoirse Ronan, Chloe Grace Moretz, Udell Ferland, Lindsay Fonseca, Emily Browning.
Wow.
Shailene Woodley, Kaya Scodelario, Troy Embellisaria. I mean, a lot of talented people went up for that role.
That's incredible, but the director, Gary Ross, he always knew who he wanted, didn't he?
Seems so. He apparently said Jennifer Lawrence was his first choice right away, told Entertainment Weekly back then it was the, quote, easiest casting decision he ever made.
Not even a question who the best Katniss was. Strong words.
Very. But interestingly, Jennifer Lawrence herself, she hesitated.
Really? Why?
The fame. She was apparently really worried about how huge the role was, what that level of stardom would mean. Said that getting the call was terrifying, even though she loved the books and the script.
That's understandable, I guess, becoming that famous overnight.
Yeah. It took her mom, Karen Lawrence, to kind of push her. Pointed out that Jennifer used to say indie films were about the quality and not the size.
The old hypocrisy argument.
Sort of. And it worked. Jennifer realized she didn't want fear to dictate her choices, especially for something she connected with.
So she took the plunge.
Yeah.
But then came the internet reaction, right?
Oh, yeah. There was definitely chatter online. Some fans weren't happy she was 20 playing 16, and the blonde hair thing, too.
People had a very specific image from the books.
Exactly. It happens a lot when adapting books, But Gary Ross, the director, he wasn't too worried.
What was his take?
He stressed that Suzanne Collins, the author and co-writer of the script, was totally behind Jennifer. Collins apparently felt the role needed, like, maturity, real strength, someone who could believably start a revolution.
So the gravitas was more important than matching the exact description.
That seems to be the idea.
Mm-hmm.
And Jennifer Lawrence, she was kind of oblivious to the online stuff.
Really?
Yeah, she told MTV News the internet was like a black hole to her, didn't pay attention, said she only found out about the hair color complaints after they'd already dyed it.
Huh. That's pretty funny. And speaking of the business side, her pay changed dramatically, didn't it?
Oh, massively.
Mm.
For the first movie, reports say $500,000.
Okay.
For the sequel, Catching Fire, jumped to $10 million.
Wow. Okay. So what about Peeta? Was that casting straightforward?
Not entirely. There were other contenders. Alexander Ludwig, who ended up playing Cato,
Right.
Hunter Parrish, Lucas Till, Evan Peters. They were all apparently considered. But Josh Hutcherson got the part.
And Ross liked him for Peeta.
Yeah, Ross said he felt really lucky to find him. Felt Hutcherson really got the different layers of Peeta's character.
And Gale, Katniss's other guy?
Liam Hemsworth, of course.
Yeah.
But others auditioned too: David Henry, Drew Roy, Robbie Amell.
Why Hemsworth? What did the producers see?
Mina Jacobson, the producer, mentioned Gale is kind of internal. Doesn't say a lot, but you feel his intensity. She felt Liam really nailed that quiet strength from the books.
It's interesting how much the main three had to change physically, too, especially their hair.
Totally. Liam, naturally blonde, went dark. Josh, naturally dark, went blonde.
And Jennifer, the blonde, went brunette.
Right. Apparently they tried a bunch of expensive wigs first to find the right shade of brown. The hair designer said Jennifer actually liked a lighter brown, but Gary Ross wanted the darkest one. So that's what they went with for the dye job.
And the physical prep? Jennifer Lawrence really went all out, didn't she?
Oh, yeah. 6 weeks just focused on training.
Mm-hmm.
Archery, obviously, but also rock climbing, tree climbing, combat stuff, running, parkour-like vaulting, even yoga.
Yeah, good for agility, makes sense. Didn't she have an accident?
Minor one, yeah. On the last day of training, she apparently ran full speed into a wall. Got bruised up, but was okay. Shows the intensity, though.
Definitely. And Josh Hutcherson bulked up, too.
Yep. Gained about 15 pounds of muscle, strict diet, lots of training.
Liam Hemsworth got some interesting advice from his brother, didn't he?
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth apparently told him, pretty bluntly, something like, it's the Hunger Games, not the eating games.
Yeah.
A little brotherly motivation, I guess.
That sounds about right for brothers. Any other fun stories from the set?
Well, there's the one where Jennifer Lawrence accidentally knocked Josh Hutcherson out cold.
Oh.
She was just messing around, showing off some air kicks, and accidentally clipped him right in the temple. He went down. Didn't remember it when it came to, but she felt terrible, obviously.
Yikes. Glad he was okay.
Me too. And the filming itself sounds like it was tough. They shot in North Carolina.
Hot, right?
Extremely hot,
Yeah.
apparently. Plus lots of rain delays
Yeah.
and bears.
Wait, actual bears on set?
Yeah. Drawn in by the food, the catering trucks, they'd just wander on sometimes. Must have kept things interesting.
I'll say, and Haymitch himself, Woody Harrelson,
Yeah.
it wasn't an immediate yes from him, was it?
No, surprisingly. He turned the role down twice. He just didn't really see the potential in the part at first, he admitted later. But Gary Ross kept after him, convinced him. Thank goodness he did.
Seriously. Can't imagine anyone else. What about Effie, Elizabeth Banks?
Oh, her main challenge was apparently the nails.
Yeah.
Those crazy Effie trinket manicures.
Right, they looked impossible.
She said they basically were. Couldn't do anything for herself.
Yeah.
Needed help using her phone, even going to the bathroom. So by the time she managed to get through the lunch line, everyone else was already done eating.
The price of fashion in the capital, I guess.
Pretty much. And here's a nice little connection. Lenny Kravitz, who played Cinna.
Yeah.
He already knew Jennifer Lawrence. His daughter, Zoe Kravitz, was friends with her. They met when Zoe was filming in London, and Lenny would host the cast at his place in Paris on weekends.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And Kravitz said Jerry Ross actually liked that pre-existing connection. Thought it would help him portray that sort of protective, caring relationship Cinna has with Katniss.
That makes sense. Anything else? Any, soundtrack trivia?
One big one. The song Safe and Sound by Taylor Swift featuring the Civil Wars.
Yeah, from the first movie's soundtrack.
It won a Grammy. Best song written for visual media back in 2013. So, yeah, the franchise even has a Grammy win under its belt.
Not bad at all. Okay, so, quite a journey. we've got the new casting for Sunrise on the Reaping, setting the stage for Haymitch's story.
Right, with Joseph Zada and Whitney Peak stepping into those key roles.
And then looking back at all the twists and turns and challenges involved in just getting the original Hunger Games cast and filmed, it's a lot.
It really is. Which kind of leads to a final thought maybe for you listening. When you think about everything that went into the first movie, the casting debates, the training, the on-set surprises, even the Grammy win, what parts of this new production for Sunrise on the Reaping are you going to be most curious to follow as it heads towards that 2026 release?
Yeah, good question. Will it be tracking the new actors, watching for filming updates, maybe waiting for that first trailer or song?
Exactly. Lots to potentially keep an eye on. Definitely something to think about.